Good Sunday morning. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. I'm going to give you a quick update on how things stand with our winter storm. Winter storm warnings do remain up, and they actually got expanded farther to the northwest to include areas like Lafayette. So the the storm being suppressed way south, like all the European and Canadian data had, that's not happening. The American data is winning out on this thing. Here's a look at the advisories from the National Weather Service in Indianapolis, and you see pretty much their entire coverage region is under winter storm warning. All this pink is all winter storm warning. The blues are winter weather advisories, and that's those advisories. NWS Northern Indiana. This yellow that you see up here at the top, that's also under winter weather advisories. So that's how close things are. And but vast majority of Indiana is under a winter storm warning right now. So here's a look at what the National Weather Service has put out. And in their hazard detail on the left, it says confidence is high in a swath of 8 inches or more of snow along and south of the I-70 corridor. Isolated higher amounts can also be possible south of I-70. A possible sharp snow amount gradient north of the Indy Metro. So, and that's the area they've got circled here in white, which does include part of Madison County. I do think that gradient actually at cutoff is going to be more of a thread up around from maybe the Lafayette to Kokomo to Marion. That's my thought on that has not changed, especially the way this is coming in though. And that cutoff may actually be farther north. I'll show you some radar here in a second. But for Madison County, they've got the southern part of Madison County, in a 6 to 8 inch swath, and the northern parts of Madison County in a 4 to 6 inch swath. That's pretty much in line with where I've been, the whole time. So, this makes me feel pretty good about this that my forecast has been right, for the last few days. Here's while I'm talking about it. Maybe if I can outsmart my equipment here. Here was the forecast that I had, and again, I had areas basically north of Anderson in a 3 to 6, south of Anderson. It's in a 6 to 10 band, but what I've been saying is I think areas up around Elwood, Alexandria, Summitville, you know, probably getting down close to Frankton. I think you're probably going to pick up 4 or 5 inches, maybe 6 inches if this continues to trend north. And then from areas around Anderson, Chesterfields, Lapel, Pendleton, Emporia, Markleville, those areas then are probably going to be, overlap a little bit, probably in the 5 to 7 inch range. So across the county, I'm still expecting a 4 to 7 inch snow. But again, if this moves as far north as it looks like it might, then the whole county might pick up 6 to 10 inches. If some dry air finds a way to intrude, then the whole county could pick up 3 to 6. It's that transition is going to be real tough to deal with. I will say from the balloon soundings, the weather balloon soundings that were sent up, that data started to come in not too long ago. Dry air does not appear to be a problem so far. So, with that in mind, I'll take a look at a couple other things with some radar, and then I'll cut this thing short. So here's a wide regional view of things using WSB3. This over here in Indiana where it's showing up as green. I'm not sure why it's doing that. That is all snow, and snow is actually coming down pretty quickly. just south of Indianapolis. I mean, it's covering up pretty fast. So, the fact that this is showing up as green, don't let that mess with you. It's actually more intense snow. And you can see the intense snow band going all the way back here. Kansas City has been absolutely hammered between snow and ice. But you can see a shield up here. Look at this. It's actually expanding to the north. So, and you can see this right here. It's expanding to the north. And look how far to the north that is. So, confidence that getting a little bit of grandfather clock in the background. Confidence is pretty good that this is coming pretty far north. So again, the American data is winning out on this thing. Then here's a closer view using radar Omega. A lot of this up here is probably, and might be some light flurries, but it's probably really getting absorbed by dry air. But this is saturating pretty fast. And then look back here. One of these pinks back here, it would indicate some mixing. It's actually just heavier snow. Um, but you can see right here, some of these darks, it's already developing a little bit of banding. And this coming through during the daytime, actually, a lot of times during the daytime, you get a little more convection that sometimes the models don't see. So this area back in here, as it moves east, that is what will begin to affect the Anderson area. And again, you can see it expanding to the north. Let me switch out here real quick. Let's go out and look at the radar out of Lincoln. And so you can see looking all the way back, it's expanded pretty far north. And if anything, there's I don't know if this is a blind spot in the Lincoln radar because it's like nothing seems to be going past that. So I'm guessing that's a blind spot in the Lincoln radar. Snow is probably actually up in here, but you can see it expand north. If you look out here, it's continuing to move north. You're seeing some of the darks here, some of the banding that's developing. So I'm actually feeling pretty good about the way this thing is progressing. So I'm going to take a look at one model and one model only, and then I'm going to call this. But right now, I still think across Madison County, 4 to 7 inches is likely, and we could go higher than that. This is the 14Z run of the HRRR model, so this won't even cover the entirety of the event. And it's looked like it's going to come in two phases up here north of I-70. It may actually continue to snow. It just may slow down overnight. But here we can see this around 11 a.m. This might be a little overfilled up in here, but I think by the time we're hitting about 1 p.m., this is going to be again, I don't think any of these holes right here are going to actually happen. Um, but I think as we're getting into we may begin to see snowfall late this morning. That's kind of been in the forecast. Then we'll see the main accumulations occur maybe mid afternoon through mid evening, and then it'll begin to slow down a little bit and either snow lightly overnight. There might be a little bit of sleet mix in overnight. There could even be some periods where it stops overnight. The overnight, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot. If this thing's going to overachieve, the overnight will be when it will happen. If it decides it's just going to stay filled in and snow decently overnight, that's where I think our overachievement would occur. But right, we can see us advancing, and we've got some decent banding, decent snow going by, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9, 10, 11. And then you can see some of the mixing begin to work in. Now, the HRRR is still putting down some decent snow banding here, but some of this might actually be a mix. And then going to the overnight, it stays pretty aggressive with the snow and begins to lighten it up around this about 3 a.m. And then that's where it stops. So, but you can see the purples just stay real close here. So I would say overnight we might see some banding, or I mean some light snow, maybe even some periods of no snow or some light sleet. And so let me drop back here to the 12Z so we can go farther out into the run. Slide the screen back down so you can see it. So again, we're back into the, we don't want the forecast sounding. Although you can see the saturation right here is the snow growth zone, the dendritic growth zone is up in here, kind of between these two. So you can see how small the area that snow gets formed in is. And so that in itself, the fact that the snow happens is kind of crazy. The fact that we can forecast it with any decency at all is even more impressive. So the people who get mad that they don't get their exact amount of snowfall, you don't understand the mechanics that go into even making snow happen. And if somewhere in here, like these little dry slots back here where the green moves over to our left, and if this down here won't hurt things too much, although this might be where some sleet could occur. But the fact that snow even happens and that we forecasted with any accuracy at all is pretty amazing. So the people who are always complaining about, oh, nobody ever gets it right, and of course they're not making their own forecast, they're just complaining about others. At any rate, I digress. So here's a look at things as we go overnight. This is about 7 a.m. and then a little bit of backfilling right here. So the HRRR actually is getting all the snow through in a relatively singular phase. There are some indications that might happen in two phases. Right now, I would err actually toward the single phase, with it lightening up overnight, maybe getting one more burst right there in the pre-dawn hours and then getting out of here. So I'm not sure what school schedules are. I think some schools are out for a professional day or something tomorrow, maybe the Franklin schools. If your schools are supposed to be open tomorrow, I would plan on them at the very least being delayed, but probably closed across Madison County. Then, as far as modeled snowfall, again, obviously I don't forecast by the models, but this is the 14Z and HRRR. And even though it doesn't cover the entirety of the storm, it covers the majority of it. And so it's got most of Madison County picking up 6 or 7 inches of snow total. And I kind of like this 14Z because it's beginning to see that the snow is actually going to be farther north. The cutoff is going to be farther north, but it's still, you look at northern Madison County, it's got 6. By the time you get to Marion, it's at 3, and then by the time you get to the northern part of Grant County, it's down to 1. So when you got a cutoff that drops from 6 inches to 1 inch over the course of one county, a little shift south and it can blow things up. So I don't think that's going to happen. If anything, I think this might actually go a little farther north. But that's the only model I am going to show you. It's the one that's doing the best overall. And again, I'll go back to my forecast. I don't see any reason to change it. And again, I'm sticking with a general 4 to 7 in Madison County, more possible, but we'll just see how it plays out. Snow accumulation. May begin late this morning, accumulation during the afternoon and early evening, and then it'll slow down in the overnight hours. But some periodic banding may be possible in the overnight hours. So if anything changes, I'll update you. But I wouldn't change anything with what I've got so far. So this is Michael Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. If you've appreciated all the updates that you've gotten over the last couple of days, and if you've appreciated the fact that the forecast you got 5 days ago is the forecast you're still getting right now, and I've shown you data, but I've not gone wishy-washy with every model run and all that. You've gotten a pretty solid forecast from the beginning, then please support this page if you don't normally. I got a generous donation yesterday. It was very appreciated, very timely, because I've kind of been struggling to keep some of this, the things I pay for going. But at any rate, please support this page if you can. Look at the top of the Facebook and Twitter. Both of those have pinned posts on them, and with the ways that you can donate to this page. Please do so. Last thing before I go, I will show you one other thing real quick. I've told you since back right after Christmas that we had 2 storms we'd be watching for. One is this storm today. The other one would be a storm right around the 10th or so. And here we are. This is the GFS. This is on Friday, and which was I had in my 7 day forecast right on Friday that we could have some snow coming in. We may have another snowstorm coming Friday into Saturday, and then I think we'll take a short break on things. But just a little heads up that come Friday we may be looking at another snowstorm. Again, the heaviest snow probably falls south of I-70, but this one will be uh, more of a traditional comma shaped type storm. They're a lot easier to forecast, but this is still several days out. But just know that we may be looking at another snowstorm coming through Friday into Saturday. So, with that said, this is Michael Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Be safe out there. Just take it easy. Watch some TV. Enjoy the snowfall, and be safe.